I'm trying to take a closer look at the crack with my super magnifying glasses. See what I can see. See what it's like. Okay. It's very thin. But visibly noticeable. It did crack the poly. And yes, I think I can do something. I'm going to seal it. I think I'm probably going to put thin CA glue in first to get it to go down inside. And then we'll see where it goes from there. All the wiring is shielded, point to point, except for the ground for the bridge. And it's got a green chiclet on the tone pot. So 2 volumes and a tone, which would be the way I'd like to have it. Of course, also independent. And did they do that? Yeah, so it's not independent as far as I can see. Although it may be, it's hard to tell because both the red and the yellow wire go all the way back to the switch. And then the one black one comes all the way out, going to the tone pot where the jack jumper's up to. So yeah, we'll have to see. It's hard to tell right now. If not, all I got to do is switch the 1 and 2 jumpers on those pots. And they've got the speed switch knobs on it, which is something, you know, I like that style of knob. See, I like those speed knobs. They have some also that are knurled on the top. These don't have it. There's only a single conductor coming out of there. So I'm not sure which wires are which, because the wires that are coming from the pickups, the yellow and the red, look exactly like the jumper wires that are going from the pot back to the switch, and then the black out to here. The exact same type, thin, poly. So I don't know which ones of these are the bridge and which ones are from the switch. Won't know that till I get that open and look underneath. What's that? There's a little yellow thing there. Is that in or out? Is that in or out? Yeah. And I've been asked about my NAFTA, and my NAFTA basically is just lighter fluid. You can buy it in certain hardware stores. I think I got this one off of Amazon, Amazon. That's all it is lighter fluid. Easy to get for us hobbyists. We'll do that on there. No, now I lost it. Maybe I already got it. I think there was a yellow spot on there. Could have been something from in the inside that bag. You know, the rest of the guitar finish is pretty nice. Now they have this in all black with this logo exactly the same, and all the black exactly the same. But it was, for me, it was too much black. And Zach uses the black one. I've seen him do videos with it. But I thought black, if you get swirls, man, it's a devil. But in the white, if there's any swirls, you can't really see them as much. and if they're there, they're a lot easier to get out. Or to make them invisible if you can't get them all out. Okay, there's a tiny little pip in the poly there. But it's so tiny, only my fingers felt it. I read it like Braille there. No disrespect to any visually challenged people. It's just, you know, a representation of how I found it. All right, we'll wait for the next part. Let's see what we can do with rusty strings. All right, the strings haven't broken so far. The pickups are really close to the strings. Even though I brought it up and the action is higher, the neck is from here. Truss rod is pretty straight. I brought it up. I don't know. We're going to just drop it back a little bit. Down there. Whoop. And then that one is not as bad. Yeah. As being close, I should say. Not as close. And we'll see how that goes. So what about tuning in this position? See how good we got it. Do some more stretching. Hopefully nothing breaks from this activity as well. I'll be really mindful of the E. It's usually the casualty. It's got good acoustics. That should be even better with some D'Addario strings. Yeah, these are just factory strings. So the nut is not bad on the bass side. The 3 bass strings. The G is high, the B, and the E. So the treble side, a little bit higher than it should be. And I don't know if that's a 43 or a 42 nut. But we'll figure that out. It's got a factory smell to it. And here's an update. First thing I tackled was the back scratch, or crack I should say, along here. I'm not a restoration expert, so I did the best I could with it. CA glued it. I put some paint in there. Then I put some more CA glue on it. And then I put some UV resin on the top of it. So, knowing that, I decided, well, okay, let's go to the front of the guitar and tackle the nut. However, every nut I have, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's a couple more somewhere. Anyway, all 43 millimeters, and I need a 42. So this plastic nut that's up here is a little bit high on that side. So until I get, see how tiny the screws heads are on that truss cover? They're minuscule. They're not regular size screws, both on the, well, that cover probably, but the back cover usually is a standard, you know, pick guard size screw, but not these. So the next step I wanted to do was the nut, but I think I will just touch that up anyway until I can get a 42. And if you can believe me, there are no 42 millimeters on Amazon here. Everything is a 43. I can't understand why that is. But there is one on its way from China that I ordered a couple of weeks ago. Left China today, actually. So it should be here in a couple of weeks, maybe. And in the meantime, I'm going to leave that nut there. And I will take it down. And then I'm going to take this tailpiece off down here. Well, yeah, I did look inside the cavity for the switch. It's a nice switch. And the soldering is really good. Oh, and inside the cavity too, the soldering is good. I think they're using that new kind of more tin-based solder. The capacitor that was in there, I just cut it for the time being out of the circuit so that it's not hanging these things down at all. Okay, let's see what's under. No, it does go to the pot first, then to the switch. Okay. Now, it is fairly clean underneath there, but I will show you that I got the truss rod cover off while I loosened up the strings over there, and they did leave me some residue up in that area, but this is very nice and clean in that, see? While I'm dragging these strings around. Okay. And this pickup is fully potted on the bottom. I think like EMGs are normally. The plastic goes all the way down the side here like that on them. Almost have to take the pickup ring off to get it out. I'm going to leave it on there for now. Now that I know that this one's yellow, that one will be red. So the yellow one is my of concern. Now, the bridge I was disappointed in because these ABR1 types, yeah, my 8mm won't screw in there. They're smaller in diameter than the ones back here that do take the 8mm, which means that to switch it over, I have to drill that out. Or go buy another bridge like this, because this roller won't fit. However, while I've got it out, see if we can just take a look. Like that. Will it work? There. It's hard to see, but see, I'll get down there. The rollers are just a little bit higher than those blades. And this is a full BM 003 replacement. That's unbranded. About the same in weight. Darn. And this base is in pretty good. And taking a look down inside the tailpiece holes, there are shims in these. And these rollers here are quite high, or thick I should say. They keep the bridge quite a bit high, so this is an additional several millimeters. We're going to go with, it's 1/8 of an inch. I don't have any millimeters on that. An extra 1/8 of an inch height that you can't get it down to adjust, whereas this one here is more like a 1/16 of an inch, and I can get it down a little bit further, and I would need it to get down a little bit further. Yeah, that's a 1/16, in order to try to get a roller bridge on there. Now, you know, I had a bunch of these bridges that were this standard type. I thought I'm never going to use them. I threw them out. I thought I had kept one but I apparently didn't with the last cleanup. So I am perplexed at the moment. Let's see if I can get this to hold those strings all right. Over here, if I can swing this around and show you the one place they left me dirt is up in there, in the truss rod cavity, and the truss rod is right there underneath the nut. It's not deep in. It's not deep in. So I think I'm sort of stopped for the moment to decide what the hell am I going to do.